Holla Ballers! What's going on? It's Preacher, and welcome to your 6.2 Warlords of Draenor Arms Guide. Oh yes! It's a big flavour of the month right now, is it not, ladies and gents? Lots of guilds swapping many of their main classes over to the Arms Warrior in order to crush some of the Hellfire Citadel raid bosses. Yes, indeed. It is a good time to be Arms. Yes, it is. But let me give you this caveat, depending on when you're watching it. If you are one of those guys who tends to go, if I play this class, I'll probably get a raid spot. Just bear in mind that this spec doesn't really take flight until you get the Tier 18 4-set bonus and the Archimon trinkets, and both of those pair up to create a synergy that is just incredibly good compared to how the bosses are designed. So if you're not in the position where you can grab those pretty quick, you're not going to do anything particularly stellar, and you're probably going to be playing Fury. So that's something to bear in mind there. So, without further ado, I am going to be referring to the Tier 18 set bonuses quite a bit. I'm just going to call them Tier 18, okay, for reference for you guys later on. And if you're looking for gameplay to back all this up, just click the link that came up in the top there, and that will take you to the gameplay, where I'll go and do a couple of bosses as Arms and show you how all this stuff works in real-world scenarios. The thing about Arms is that it's not set in stone what you should be doing all the time. It revolves heavily around two things, alright? Two things you need to take care of. One is your Colossus Smash, and the other is your big, dirty, throbbing cock executes that will, in fact, just destroy towards the end of the fight. And you really need to be aware of how good execute is and how to use it effectively. And how to effectively use Colossus Smash. You look after those two things, the rest of the stuff will just fall into play. Alright? Pretty damn simple. So what is Arms all about? Obviously, Mortal Strike, Colossus Smash, you gain Whirlwind, Rend, okay, Rend is back, it is a nice big decent amount of damage, and also you retain Thunderclap, which is something that we will be using. Yes, indeed, the Thunderclap does make its return. Very, very nice. I've just noticed, I've just respect, and I don't have Thunderclap on my bars, so let me put that in there nicely, so we can actually use it. Let's talk about talents. Now, the thing is with the talents for the Warriors, you have one of the best talent systems in the game. You really do. And it all makes perfect sense. So you should never be in a situation where you're having to check what talents are best for watch fight, because if you understand what the talents do, then it just makes complete sense to you, and you won't have an issue. So at level 15, you pick how you want to do charges. Now, charge is a very, very cool spell. Not only does it grant some rage, now bear in mind that if you charge the same target again, you tend not to get that rage. You have to swap targets, so something to note there. So it depends on what the fight needs of you. Do you need to charge every 12 seconds? Do you need to double charge? Do you need to do things like that? Warbringer, not so much. I just wanted to show there that, you see, if you charge that again, you don't get the extra rage. That was actually from the white hit. So something to note there. Some people don't realise that. At level 30, enrage regen nearly all the time. Why? It's on demand, it's free, doesn't cost you DPS, and it's whenever you need it. However, some fights are actually really nice for second wind, surprisingly, especially things like Tyrant Valhari, where your health is just constantly low. If you read that whenever you are below 35% health, you gain 25% leech, healing yourself a percentage of the damage you deal. That could be super handy, especially for fights like Tyrant Valhari, where your health is always low, okay? So bear in mind how useful some of these are. Don't just go, well, I take enrage regen, and that's it. Yeah, don't be like that. Impending Victory, not really. I mean, there are some scenarios where you'll be killing targets and be able to get good use out of this, but you always have to ask yourself, do I need healing in here, or the healer's got me covered, or what's the scenario here? Am I going to get good use out of it? Very unlikely, honestly. Right, level 45. So your choices are generally between Sudden Death or Taste for Blood. Now, the general go-to rule is, pre-Tier 18, is to take Sudden Death when doing single target damage. Okay? Very simple idea is that the executes, which I already told you are super meaty, will be really nice and fit inside a lot of Colossus Smashes and actually pull off really good numbers, so that's quite nice. However, once you start dealing with 2 targets or more, Taste for Blood takes over. And Taste for Blood does something really simple. Your Rend deals damage, you gain 3 rage. The reason this obviously takes over is for a very simple idea, is when we're dealing with 2 targets, we're going to use more rage spenders, alright? We're going to have things like sweeping strikes up all the time, we're going to be doing more whirlwinds, we're going to be doing all that kind of stuff depending on your gear, and having the extra rage means you can do more of those. Very, very easy. You do have to bear in mind, though, Rend's got to be on the target. So you also have to ask yourself the question, are there targets where Rend will actually get to deal damage? Because if Rend isn't dealing damage, I don't gain enough rage. So that's the question you ask yourself there. What I will say is once you reach tier 18, you will in fact be using mainly Mortal Strike and Colossus Smash on cooldown like every couple of seconds. They cost 20 rage and 10 rage respectively. So it's worth noting there that you will permanently switch to Taste of Blood then even on single target because you need the extra rage to make good use of the constant Mortal Striking and Colossus Smashing you will be doing. Okay? Very simple idea. If you don't, you basically, let me sum it up to you like this. You want to make sure that at all times you have enough rage to Colossus Smash and Mortal Strike on cooldown. That's the very, very, very super basic idea, right, guys? Really is that easy. Can I Mortal Strike and Colossus Smash on cooldown? When you cannot, then you start taking Taste for Blood. Very, very simple idea, guys. At level 60, it's real easy. If you've got more than one target, Dragon Roar. If it's single target, Stormbolt. Really that easy, guys. Nothing more to it than that. Shockwave, not really. Unless you're having real troubles with, like, interrupts and stuns and stuff like that, and they're not overlapping with people who just get it naturally, you know, like leg sweep and all that kind of stuff, then you might take Shockwave, but realistically, not really. Level 75, Vigilance. If you're raiding, come on now, you're a raid cooldown. If you turn up without Vigilance, your tanks are going to slap you in the balls, and rightfully so. Take Vigilance and be ready to cast it on your tanks on demand. Level 90, Avatar doesn't really get a look in, and the reason for that is quite simple, is we have many, many burst windows, and Avatar just has too longer cooldown. It's as simple as that. What we do have is lots of opportunities to cleave and spread and do extra damage, so Bloodbath is generally the way to go. Blade Storm is great in lower gear when you're fighting 3+ targets on a regular basis and get good use out of Blade Storm. However, once you reach tier 18 and you're doing way more Mortal Strikes and Colossus Smashes, then Blade Storm starts to lose its effectiveness, because while you're Blade Storming, you can't make use of those abilities, and they hit really fucking hard. Okay, so it's like 5-6+. Basically, in Hellfire Citadel, there's not much room for Blade Storm, unless you're trying to do some padding on like Manaroth Imps or something stupid, but you really don't need it. You should be focusing on other sources of damage and more important things. So realistically, Bloodbath is going to be, once you start reaching tier 18, you're just going to be Bloodbathing all the way. At level 100, Ravager is great if you're doing reasonably regular amounts of cleave. Okay? Hellfire Assault, good use of Ravager there. Those kind of moments are great for you. Other than that, though, it's going to be anger management. As I said earlier in regards to Avatar, you're going to have lots of opportunities for burst damage as an arms warrior, and anger management means that you'll get to use Bloodbath and Wreck far more often, which lines up again with these big Colossus Smash windows. Remember, every Colossus Smash is essentially a huge DPS boost, and anger management means you can take advantage of them more often than not. So it's a very, very simple idea as you move through it. Siegebreaker, not really, okay? Not really. It's going to be anger management once you start getting some decent gear. Alright, so those are the simple ideas. So now you should know when you look at a fight which talents to take and why it makes sense to you. Onto your glyphs. If you're playing arms, the likelihood is you're cleaving. Okay, until you get extremely good gear. In which case you want Sweeping Strikes Glyph, because it's more rage, most rage spenders, easy stuff, what we discussed in the talents. Glyph of Unending Rage is the permanent. You're not going to get rid of this thing. Why? You get so much bursty rage as an arms warrior. You really do. Not only have you got it flooding in if you're using things like Taste for Blood, but you're also getting these white swings in, which can give you big chunks of rage. Having that extra 20 rage buffer zone is fantastic. Bear in mind, guys, when you're playing a DPS warrior, every bit of rage that is wasted because you've capped your rage is lost damage. It's lost damage because that rage turns into damage. So having the extra 20 buffer zone, fantastic. Before we get tier 18, we are going to be using Thunderclap in our DPS rotation, which means Glyph of Resonating Power. So that just means you have to cast it less. Essentially, it increases the damage and the cooldown. So it's up less often, which fits more in line with our DPS windows when we can actually drop a Thunderclap on the target, okay? So we will be using Thunderclap. However, once you do reach tier 18, guys, you will drop Thunderclap and Whirlwind from your rotation pretty much completely and don't have to worry about this Glyph anymore, which means you can consider things like Glyph of Mortal Strike, 10% increased healing on you all the time. Glyph of Death from above, so you can do your heroic leap far more often. Yeah, things like this are things you could fit in. Glyph of Rude Interruption, especially. It's a 6% damage increase when you're doing interrupts. Does this fight have interrupts? Yes. Then I want Glyph of Rude Interruption because I get a 6% damage increase. All these kind of things are things you can be considering at that point. Okay, Glyph of Long Charge has its place sometimes. All these things are actually quite useful, even in Rage Speed, and depending on the scenario. Every boss presents different challenges, just pick and choose your glyphs. One thing I can say is I carry 123 tomes right now. Keep your tomes on you. You're going to be swapping these all the time, but hopefully from what I've just explained to you, why you're swapping and what you're swapping to makes complete sense. Alright, so let's talk about our DPS rotation. This is assuming you don't have tier 18. Very simply, I'm not going to go full out here. I'm just trying to demonstrate some things for you. you're going to start attacking. Now, one thing I will say is you can see my Mortal Strike is actually a macro. It's a very, very simple macro I recommend everybody get because your white damage is so crucial for rage generation. It's important that you instantly start attacking. And you can see my Mortal Strike macro is literally start attack and cast Mortal Strike, which means I can just look at a target and press Mortal Strike and it starts attacking straight away. My white swings just continue. So I would really recommend something like start attack so you're not having to right click all the time. It's a little minor help, but it is a help, so something to bear in mind there. So fundamentally what you'll be doing regardless of gear is keeping rend ticking. Get away from me. You'll keep rend ticking. Now, I have some good way of tracking rend. So what you'll see is my rend ticks down. I will have a notification pop up here. I use tell me when. You can easily find that on cursor. As you can see, as my rend ticks down, you can see I get this notification saying, Breacher, 3 seconds or 5 seconds left on rend, which means refresh my rend. You don't have to let rend fall off. You can refresh it below 5 seconds, and it will continue to do its damage as normal. Pretty good. Now, the way the Arms Warrior works pre-tier 18 is building up for the Colossus Smash window. What does Colossus Smash do? Colossus Smash isn't a big heavy hitting attack. It's not going to cut a head off. What it does do is debuff the target, okay? So if I Colossus Smash this, you can see I get this debuff. Now, while this debuff is on, all your attacks bypass armor. All you need to know right there is that all your attacks kick fucking ass while Colossus Smash is on. Which means we need to be building for every single Colossus Smash to make sure we can throw everything in the kitchen sink and a fucking truck into the boss's face while Colossus Smash is on. When Colossus Smash is off, we are just building to the next Colossus Smash while not overcapping rage. It's really that easy, guys, okay? That's how it works. So rend on, and you'll be in the scenario where it's, oh, I've got Colossus Smash ready. What are we going to do here? We're going to do everything. We're going to go Wreck. We're going to go fucking Blade Storm. Not Blade Storm. Then we're going to Colossus Smash up with Bloodbath on, and then we're going to throw absolutely everything at it and go absolutely balls to the wall. We're going to throw Mortal Strikes in there, and then Colossus Smash is wore off. Relax. Go back down to our downtime period, which is basically keep Mortal Strike on cooldown, keep rend ticking, and keep watching our rage. So then we have this Colossus Smash timer. 2 seconds till Colossus Smash. Balls to the wall. Kick his fucking ass. Kick his ass. Kill him. Throw everything at him. Colossus Smash is off and relax. And now we're just watching our rage. And everything's calm. Everything's fine. Rage is nice. Okay, nearly at 100. Just use that rage. Spend it there. Colossus Smash is coming back. And Colossus Smash! Go! And this is how Arms plays, guys, okay? Ideally, you won't be refreshing rends during Colossus Smash. You'll be just throwing everything. And then Colossus Smash wears off. And we go back to relaxing. And we'll use our Mortal Strike. Bear in mind, Dragon Roar ignores armor naturally. So you can kind of fire it off that whenever you want. 2 seconds till Colossus Smash. Everything's fine. Go, Colossus Smash. Bloodbath on. Go. Do you get the idea? Yeah, very, very fucking easy. Is you just build for these Colossus Smashes, and then you calm down, and then you do Mortal Strike, and it's all very nice and pretty. Very, very simple. So, as you can see, Arms doesn't have a great deal of attacks, which is one of the big issues people have with this spec, is it doesn't have much to do when Colossus Smash is on cooldown, is you can be sitting here quite pretty. This is where your Thunderclap and Whirlwind come in, alright, guys? So, we're just trying not to cap rage. That's all it is. So, we're at 100 rage, and we can spend some. So, we use Thunderclap. Okay, we've got that Glyph of Resonating Power, so Thunderclap hits reasonably hard, but when I say that, I mean it doesn't. But it's something we can spend Rage on. That's it. It's something we can spend Rage on, and then we go Colossus Smash, blah, 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 blah. So if you're ever wondering, when should I Whirlwind, when should I Thunderclap? Literally, if you have too much Rage, and you're about to waste Rage, and Colossus Smash isn't about to come off cooldown, it's that easy. When things get below 20%, though, ladies and gents, things get a little bit scary, because that's when the Arms Warrior starts sharpening its blade and ripping some fucking balls out, because it's execute time. Execute is, of course, a mega for an Arms Warrior. I will point out here that Arms Warriors focus on mastery. You want as much mastery as possible for your Arms Warrior. What does mastery do? It's really quite boring, but it's good at the same time. It increases the damage of Mortal Strike, Colossus Smash, and execute abilities. Yeah, right. Awesome. I want that. I want to buff the damage of those mega hard-hitting abilities. Very cool. Pre-tier 18, you'll literally... let me read Execute for you here. So it's important you guys understand this. Execute costs 10 rage, right? For its minimum. But it will take an extra 30 and deal way more bonus damage. Very, very cool. Which is why I have this. This here is my notification for execute. As you can see there, this is the tell me when interface window. And I have two conditions for this. One, that the target is below 20% health, that I want this button to light up. And also that my rage is greater than or equal to 40. That tells me I'm about to drop the fucking class bomb all over this target, because that's my hardest hitting possible execute I have. Very cool. Now, we'll obviously be doing our usual stuff, so I'm not going to maintain this. We'll have Ren ticking and blah, 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 blah. We're now approaching 20%. Obviously, there's priority given towards Colossus Smash, because that means that my executes will hit even harder, right? Even harder. But at this point, we drop out Thunderclap and Whirlwind, because they were just wastes of rage, essentially. At this point, we're just going to be keeping Mortal Strike on cooldown, ignoring everything else, and putting in many, many beefy, solid executes. But that doesn't mean we're still not preparing for the next Colossus Smash window, because the executes we drop during Colossus Smash will be so much harder. So we want to go into every Colossus Smash with around 100 rage, right? Because we're going to go like Mortal Strike, execute, execute, execute inside of that Colossus Smash window and drop bombs. We want to come out of every Colossus Smash window below 20% health with no rage, essentially, and getting ready for the next Colossus Smash window. All right, very cool. As you get to tier 18... you'll probably drop Mortal Strike as well, because your Colossus Smash will be refreshing so often, thanks to your Archimon trinket, that you will just be using Colossus Smash, execute, wait for rage, execute, wait for rage, Colossus Smash, execute, wait for rage. And of course, guys, if you are low on rage or whatever, and the target is about to die, you'll just spam execute to the end of days, because you're not building up rage for another Colossus Smash window. You absolutely want to get as many Colossus Smash windows in as possible below 20% health, and fill them with big, juicy 40 rage executes. Creamy good. Everybody's a winner. Happy, happy fucking days. Alright? It's super simple, super obvious. Now, for those of you wondering about tier 18, what do? As I already said, you simply drop Thunderclap and Whirlwind from your rotation. It's one of the few specs that actually becomes less buttons because of your set bonuses. And you'll basically just be doing Mortal Strike and Colossus Smash. Sorry to break it to you, that's how it's going to work. What about AoE Preacher? Now, when AoEing, below tier 18, things like Whirlwind and Thunderclap become way more important. As does, especially because you have Taste for Blood, Rend. So if we're fighting multiple targets, even one more target, we need to get Rend ticking on them all, okay? You want to be throwing around Rend at all times. And now we introduce Sweeping Strikes, okay? Have a good way of keeping Sweeping Strikes up, which means we are naturally cleaving our targets thanks to Sweeping Strikes. You can see the damage I put out on here is transferred over to here. Very, very simple idea. And we're going to keep Rends ticking on all these targets. But now we're going to throw in things like Whirlwind, Thunderclaps, and we're going to get all these spinning around. Now, what I will say is you have to make a judgment call here. This is why I am not saying these hard and fast rules. If you have like 4 targets that are going to live a reasonably long time, Hellfire Assault is a good example of this. I'll probably do my gameplay video on that. But you have one that's particularly dangerous, then you'll have Sweeping Strikes. So you'll certainly do your Whirlwinds and your Thunderclaps, but you'll still be using a Colossus Smash and Mortal Strike on that target, yeah? While still cleaving away and keeping your Rens ticking. Now, obviously, you're not going to get mega use out of your Colossus Smash window, and you have to bear in mind whether it's worth executing that target. These are judgment calls you're going to have to make on the time, guys. In general, when you're just doing mad AoE, you probably won't Mortal Strike or Colossus Smash that much in favor of just doing massive Whirlwinds, Thunderclaps, and Whirlwind away, and keeping Ren ticking and all that stuff, and keeping Sweeping Strikes going. Now... this is the same issue that you had with Bladestorm when you do reach tier 18, is the fact that your Mortal Strike and your Colossus Smash and the fact that you'll have a permanent Colossus Smash window, essentially, means that your target's hitting so fucking hard, you start weaving more of those into the rotation, alright? So it's a very simple idea. As the spec becomes easier, you start focusing more on those targets, because Mortal Strike hits really fucking hard, guys. It really, truly does. So it's a very simple idea. Just be sad that Bladestorm kind of went the way of the dodo due to the fact that these two abilities are just so much more powerful. Alright, so much more powerful. I mentioned briefly there, I just want to touch on it again, is that when you're AoEing, if you're just dealing with mobs that are all of equal value in terms of danger to the encounter, you're probably not going to execute them. Because execute still costs 40 rage, which could go into way more Thunderclaps and Whirlwinds, yeah? Just bear in mind, these cost like 20 rage, all that kind of stuff. Now, despite the fact that execute can do tons of damage, you really have to make the call on the fly as to whether or not that target is worth it. In a lot of cases, it just is, because it just hits so fucking hard, right? But, you know, these are decisions you're going to have to make at the time. As well as timing up things like Bloodbath and making sure that the bleed effect of Bloodbath will actually get some effect. There's no point in popping Bloodbath on cooldown when the mobs are about to die. Look for the meaty targets. If that all seems a little bit confusing to you, check out the gameplay vid where I'll demonstrate it in action and you'll see the idea. Alright guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that enlightens you a little bit. Enjoy your arms warrior. I'll see you again. Bye bye.